What's going on, YouTube? It's Thomas DeLauer, and it is Tuesday afternoon. And today I am here talking to you to say a couple of things. First of all, I want to welcome you all to a live broadcast. I also want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me get to 100,000 subscribers, which has been a goal for me for quite a while. So thank you very much for helping me get there. I want you guys all to comment where you're watching from so that I can say hello, and then I'm going to get down to the Q&A talking about how much protein you really need. So guys, if you can, please make sure you hit that share button. Please make sure you hit that heart button and hit that like button, that thumbs up, so that we can make sure that this gets out there and all my subscribers see it. I'm going to get down to some questions here in a minute, so please make sure you comment where you're watching from so I can say hello. New York, what's going on? We got Brandon in Michigan, we got Ralph in Iowa, we got Japan, Seattle, Beijing, Minneapolis, California, Dylan in Minnesota, we've got Thomas in South Carolina, we've got Texas. Holy cow, you guys are awesome. We've got Newfoundland in the house, we've got San Marino in the middle of Italy, awesome. We've got Oklahoma City, Jose, we've got Vancouver, we've got Istanbul, we've got Kyler in Arizona. Wow, this is going so fast I can barely read. So I'm going to say hello to a bunch more people. So make sure that you hit that thumbs up button. That tells YouTube that I'm doing good content. It gets this stuff out there, and it lets everyone know that, hey, Thomas is a real guy, and this is good content that he's putting out there. Habib, what's going on, my friend? We got Alaska in the house. I'm going to be in Alaska next week, in Anchorage and Whittier. Santa Clarita in the house. What's going on? Petersboro in Ontario, California. We've got Denver, Colorado, Florida. Adam, what's going on? We've got Ruben in Cali. Gosh, you guys are awesome. This is a tremendous turnout here. We've got Jay in Massachusetts. We've got Freddie in Singapore. We've got Gastonia, North Carolina, India. We've got the Bay Area. We've got Tijuana. We've got Redmond, Washington. You guys are so amazing. Make sure you continue to comment where you're watching from. And I'm going to get down to the science here in just a minute. But now that I've got a lot of people here, I want to sincerely say, yesterday I was refreshing the YouTube app when I was at 99,999. Like a maniac. I was just there. I got to get a screenshot when I'm at 100,000 because we're going to do a formal thank you video, because you guys have made it possible for me to help change the lives of so many people, and you've made it possible for me to really get a lot of tremendous information out there, whereas otherwise I wasn't sure if I was quite motivated enough to continue to create as much content as I was, and to hire the amazing team that I've built. And having so many people that are down for just learning and that are just totally encouraging me to do more videos. You guys are amazing. So I really, really sincerely wanted to do this video and do it as a live to say thank you for helping me reach 100,000 subscribers. And I think if we keep going the way that we're going with all of your help and everything, we can get this to 1 million within a couple of years. And I'm not going to stop until I'm there, and we're going to keep going. We're going to keep on spreading the word of true health. So Caesar, what's going on in Laredo, Texas? Tracy, thank you for saying you're welcome. Demir, thank you very much. Patricia, thanks for saying you love learning. Abdul, what's going on, my friend? So let's talk a little bit about protein. I'm going to jump back and forth and say thank you to people, because I know with these live broadcasts, people will hop on, then people will jump off, and I want to make sure that people that are coming on this broadcast get a chance to hear me say thank you. So thank you all for saying congratulations. And one last time before I get into the topic at hand, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, give this video a big old thumbs up, and also share and invite some people. All right, so I do want to talk a little bit today about protein. The reason I want to talk about protein is you all know my stance is a little bit different from the normal fitness industry person. I don't come at you from the angle of constantly be taking protein powders. I don't come at you from the angle of just blood and guts in the gym all the time. I come at it from science, I come at it from realism, and I come at it from solid nutrition. So let me explain what I have to say about protein, and then I'm going to turn it over to questions. But I do want you to continue commenting, letting me know where you're watching from, keeping the comments coming in, because that engagement, that helps us out here on YouTube. So one of the things that has bothered me in the fitness industry is really the fact that we're constantly told we need to be consuming 1 gram per pound of body weight in terms of protein, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Why does that bother me? Well, it bothers me simply because there's not a whole lot of science to back that up. And you guys know me, I'm always about the research, I'm always about the science. So I took my team and we dug deep into this. We dug really deep. We spent about a week and a half just diving into this about, okay, well, how much protein do we really need? I know, because I've tested my urea nitrogen levels, I've tested my nitrogen levels, I know how much protein I need, but I'm a different guy. I'm not the same as everyone else. I want to see some real studies. So what we looked at was one particular study, and mind you, I'm going to have a more formal video come out on this, but it's a good topic to talk about. This one study took a look at individuals. I can't remember, I think it was like 65 individuals. And what they did is they took one group of people and they gave them 0.62 grams of protein for 4 weeks. Okay, 0.62 grams per pound of body weight for 4 weeks. Okay, and then someone says, who's that behind me? There's no one behind me, that's my window. Those are blinds. Okay, so one group had 0.62 grams of protein per pound of body weight, and the other group had 1.19 grams per pound of body weight. Well, of course, at the end of 4 weeks, what they wanted to study was how much did these people lose in terms of muscle mass, and how much strength did they potentially lose? Well, guess what, guys? Absolutely no change between the two. No change. No change in strength, no change in mass, and that's pretty darn impressive. So what they ultimately concluded, the author concluded and ended up going on later to publish, found that basically around 0.7 to 0.75 is really the tolerable upper limit before you're really going to start seeing diminishing returns. After that, you don't start getting as much benefit with your protein anymore. And this is contrary to what popular belief is and contrary to what the fitness industry will constantly tell you. Guys, if you can, make sure you keep the comments coming. If you're just joining in, make sure you comment where you're watching from. If you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out a lot, and it tells me that I'm doing some good content. So I really appreciate that. And continue to invite some people. So Mary, you asked if 0.6 is adequate. In my opinion, it's definitely adequate. This study showed that it was adequate. But a lot of people might be saying, well, Thomas, this was only a 4-week study. You know, what about some longer term studies? Well, I've got an answer for you because we dive a little bit deeper. There's even a meta-analysis that looked at it even further, but this next study was a 3-month study. Okay, and this 3-month study not only looked at body composition change, strength, muscle mass, but they also looked at hormone changes, okay? This study was a little bit different. What this study looked at was one group of people consumed 0.7 grams of protein, 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And the next group looked, God, I'm tongue twisted today. The next group consumed a little over 1 gram per pound of body weight. They did this one for 3 months, okay? What they found in this study, again, was no change. Not only no change in strength, not only no change in body composition, but no change in even hormonal state. Pretty darn fascinating. So what does this all mean? I mean, okay, we know now that maybe protein isn't as much as it's cracked up to be. It's not as amazing as we all think it is, but it all still comes down to that wonderful thing called nitrogen balance, okay? And the nice thing about nitrogen balance is simply the fact that if you consume enough protein, you are in what is called a positive nitrogen balance. Positive nitrogen balance means you have enough protein in your system to prevent you from losing muscle and even potentially building some muscle at that point. Now, a negative nitrogen balance means that you have not enough protein in your system compared to what you need. That means you're burning muscle, okay? That means you're catabolizing, you're breaking down tissue. You don't want to be there. People that are sick, people that have cancer, they are usually in a negative nitrogen balance. So that's what we don't want. Now, a neutral nitrogen balance, that's going to be where you are even, okay? Where you're taking in just enough protein to maintain what you've got and potentially add a little bit of size or at least recover. That's exactly where we want to be. Now, there's ways that we can measure this. When you consume a lot of protein and you were to use a nitrogen test strip, which you can get, you use the nitrogen test strip, you urinate on it, and it will essentially tell you you have enough nitrogen. If you have too much nitrogen in your urine, that means you're consuming way too much protein. If you have low levels of nitrogen, it means you need to increase it. You can cross-reference that with how much you're taking in. I'm not saying you go home and you do this, but what I'm saying is it's given me a good test, a litmus test, so to speak, to be able to determine if it's something that will actually work. And if it's something that will tell me how much protein I've really consumed and if it reads it and if I'm gonna lose size. It will at least tell you, based on how much protein you consume, how much you're excreting and how much you're using. So I've done this kind of myself, and what I found was very, very interesting. I found that I was in a positive nitrogen balance. Guys, just so that you know, I'm about 190 pounds, okay? I was finding that I could consume just over 100 grams of protein and still be in a positive nitrogen balance. And I'm a fairly heavily muscled guy. So I thought that was very intriguing. And I considered the fact that, okay, maybe I'm in a different state, maybe I'm not training as heavily right now, so let me go ahead and try this again. So what did I do? I went out and I tried it again 2 months later when I was in a heavier training phase, okay? When I was lifting a little bit heavier, I knew I was breaking down muscle tissue. Well, the only thing that changed was about 10 grams of protein more that I needed. So now I went into about 110, 115 grams of protein that was required to maintain a positive nitrogen balance. So I thought that was pretty darn intriguing, okay? Now that's just one, personal study, that's my own kind of thing. Well, let's talk about the health side of things now. if you're consuming a lot of protein, you are doing a fair bit of damage to your body. And what I mean by that is simply the fact that high level of free radicals, okay? I mean, it really does have an impact on your body. Okay, I'm a muscular guy, right? Okay, I eat protein, I'm not gonna lie, all right? But I'm also a realist. And when I look at things and I see that the high levels of protein consumption do lead to high levels of blood urea nitrogen levels, which is a clear indicator of kidney stress and dehydration, I'm kind of led to believe that I may not want to consume as much protein as I'm led to believe I should be. So the fitness industry will tell us we need to be consuming a lot. Well, the fitness industry doesn't really care what happens to our pancreas. The fitness industry doesn't really care about what happens to our kidneys. I do, and I'm sure you do. And we want to be doing this for a long time. Now, the interesting thing is dehydration comes into play. Dehydration, simply because protein is technically a diuretic, has a diuretic effect on the body. So when that happens, you end up putting strain on your kidneys, and that's when your blood urea nitrogen levels elevate. When your blood urea nitrogen levels elevate, it means your kidneys are working a little bit harder or a lot harder, depending on how much, and that's not good on your body. How do we know there's a direct correlation with protein in that? Well, there's multiple studies there too. One in particular was kind of interesting because it took 150-pound individuals, took three of them, 150-pound individuals that were endurance athletes. Okay, so these aren't even people that aren't even training that heavily. They gave one group 68 grams of protein. They gave another one 123 grams, and they gave another one 246. Well, guess what? The ones that consumed more protein had high levels of blood urea nitrogen levels and chronically high levels of dehydration throughout the period while they were consuming that much protein. We all know what what little bit of dehydration can do in terms of your actual muscle building. So, well, it's gonna hurt that. If you don't have enough water, if you're not hydrated, the cells don't volumize, you don't build muscle, you don't burn fat, it doesn't happen nearly as smoothly as it should. So that's just a little bit of help for you. Okay, so now the question comes into play about ketosis, because a lot of people are asking about ketosis. So if you are talking about how much protein you should take in a ketogenic state, then you're dealing with a couple other factors. Now you have to monitor what's called gluconeogenesis, okay? Gluconeogenesis is where if you consume too much protein, it actually kicks you out of ketosis. That's not important, okay? I'm sorry, that's extremely important. Sorry, I was reading a comment as that came in. That's extremely important. If you have too many grams of protein, your body will convert that into carbohydrates and it will kick you out of ketosis. I've done videos on that before, so I don't want to go into a whole lot of detail. I'm going to pause for 1 second and say thank you again, because I've got a lot of people joining in here, and this is an opportunity for me to talk to a lot of people live and say thank you to the moon and back for helping me reach 100,000 subscribers. It blew past it yesterday. I don't know how much I can express what that means to me. By the way, someone asked 190 pounds, but how tall? I'm 5'9.5", 5'10", not very tall. But I can't express how much it means to get to 100,000 subscribers. That may not seem like a lot to some, because there's some out there that have 1 million, but the fact that I've gone up almost 100,000 subscribers in like a year and a half, I'm very, very pleased with, and I could not do it without you guys. So this is a sincere thing, like to seriously say thank you, because you guys on YouTube are, and I mean no disrespect to my Facebook followers, because I have a lot of people that follow me on Facebook and on YouTube, so zero disrespect to them, but I will say my YouTube crowd is the most committed, loyal, honest group of people that I've had the pleasure of serving content to. Like, you guys are so loyal. You watch my videos, you comment, you are always driving me forward, pushing me forward. You're arguing with me when I'm wrong, which is cool, because I've been wrong in a couple of videos. I've cited the wrong studies and you guys call me out politely, which is so freaking awesome that you guys can do it cordially. So I mean, like, I'm beside myself. We reached 100,000. I was in my office. I shared it with my office, and I wish I had a little bell or a siren that could have gone off. And we're gonna make this awesome. We're gonna absolutely just crush this together, and you guys I just owe you a lot. So thank you guys, thank you so much. Make sure you guys keep on commenting where you're watching from, so that I can say hello to you and personally shout you out if I get a chance. Someone says I need to host a 2-week retreat. I would love to, that would be awesome. I don't know if I can find 2 weeks off though. Who's gonna shoot all the videos, right? So Dylan, you're welcome, man. He says, thanks, Protein Shake. Toronto, Canada in the house. We've got watching in New York City, what's going on in New York City. A lot of people are asking about protein isolate or concentrate. Isolate is one you want to go for. It's just like the name implies. Whey protein isolate is protein that's been isolated away from the whey, okay? So whey protein concentrate still has all the lactose, it still has all the milk solids, it still has all the stuff you don't really want, okay? It even has some caseinate blends. The caseinate blends that are still left over in the whey that don't always get extracted or extrapolated through the process ends up being very, very bad. They contain something called BCM7. What BCM7 is, it contains something called A2 or A1 caseinate, which is a type of protein that is very, 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 very dangerous for the body. And that's why you see a lot of proteins now are switching over to A2. So we want whey protein isolate. It is not dairy-free. Whey protein isolate simply means that it is the whey protein that has been isolated away from the rest of the whey. And someone's asking me to forecast these live events. The hard part is I can't always like post a video and say what time I'm going to go live and stuff like that. Although I would love to, it would be really, really helpful. I just can't always, because sometimes I go live impromptu. But I will start keeping that in mind. And guys, if you can, make sure you please hit that thumbs up button. We've got a lot of people on this broadcast, but not everyone's hitting that thumbs up button. So please, please, please hit that like button. It's going to tell YouTube that I'm creating good content and super, super good at getting things out there. What's up, Biloxi, Mississippi? We've got plant-based proteins are not what you would recommend. I'm a huge fan of pea protein, believe it or not. Pure pea protein is amazing, so it's totally not bad at all. What are your thoughts on the idea that higher quality protein such as beef or whey causes accelerated aging? That's a good question. The thing is, calories in general, ladies and gentlemen, will totally cause an effect on aging. You know that I'm big on fasting. I've done a lot of videos on fasting, and I'm a huge fan of it. The thing with fasting is the reason it's good is simply because you're taking down that metabolic stress. Every time you consume something, whether it's protein, whether it's carbohydrate, whether it's fat, there is a metabolic process that occurs. And that metabolic process causes free radicals. It's kind of like first grade health, right? Every time there's free radicals and those are bad. But what people don't always realize is every time we eat, we're causing that. So that's why fasting is doing such an amazing thing for so many people's bodies, because it's taking down the load, the frequency of which we are susceptible ourselves to this damage. And that is exactly what the goal is. That's why I'm a big fan of it. I don't fast every day. I fast 1, 2, 3 days a week, depending on how I feel. I came out of ketosis yesterday. It was planned. So I fast today. It feels great. I had carbs in my system. My glycogen levels are restored. So I figured it's a great day to fast. I actually feel on top of the world when I fast. And it's mainly because your body's actually getting a chance to recover for a little bit. You're resetting your immune system, and you're actually really give your body a chance to recover. How does that tie back to the aging question? Because every time you eat something, you are essentially increasing those levels of free radicals that do trigger inflammation. They do trigger C-reactive protein levels. They do trigger leukotriene. They do trigger tumor necrosis factor. They do trigger all these things, all these leukotrienes, B6. They've got, we've got interleukin 6 elevates, interleukin 8 elevates, all these things that we don't really want in chronic levels. So as I'm going to turn it back over to some questions. What is a healthy testosterone level and how do you measure it? Someone asked for a 40-year-old. It's a good question, so I'll answer that really quick. I would say, for that age group, if you can be 600, you're in a good range. I think 600 is a nice healthy range. It's not too high, it's not too low. You start getting below 400, you're starting to get into a little bit of some low levels you may want to monitor. Bean Candy says, can't wait for me to come out with a book. I've been working on a book for a while. It's something that I don't have a whole lot of time to sit down and write, but it's a great idea and great question. I'm going to come out with it here pretty soon, hopefully in the next year and a half or so. If you're fasting for a few days and it's known your body enters ketosis during that time frame, you want to keep the ketosis right after the fast, can you jump right into keto? That's a tremendous question, and you said it so eloquently. Yeah, you totally can. So there's no reason why you can't. It's just a particular transition. The way that you want to go from fasting into ketosis is going to be by actually breaking your fast still with a tiny bit of carbs, okay? Still like one rice cake, just like 7-8 grams of carbs. All it's going to do is it's going to spike your insulin for just a second, okay? That's going to be very, very important. Shout out to Kinderly. There you go. Someone really wants me to do that. Kinderly, what's going on? So if we break that fast with a little bit of an insulin spike, it's going to at least get us in a position where we can break the fast immediately, not maybe have this crazy blood sugar drop later on after you break your fasts with some proteins and fats. So then 30, 40 minutes later, then you want to start incorporating your fats, you want to start incorporating your proteins, and then go right into ketosis. You're totally fine. Guys, if you're just joining in, make sure you comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Someone asked if I believe in using exogenous ketones to aft after a cheat date. So here's my thoughts on exogenous ketones. I feel like Someone says I should try to schedule an interview with Gary Vaynerchuk. I probably should. I actually have some contacts. I could reach him, so that wouldn't be too bad. Exogenous ketones, let's talk about those for a second. The thing with exogenous ketones is they're ketones. They're artificial ketones. So if you just had a cheat meal, you have glucose in your system, okay? You have carbs already circulating. So if you go into exogenous ketones, then think about what's happening. You just gave your body two fuel sources and it has to preferentially pick one. So it's either going to use the glucose that's already around because you just had a cheat meal, in which case the beta hydroxybutyrate exogenous ketone salts are going to be considered wasted, right? They're not going to be used, right? Which means I don't know what they're going to do. The liver has to metabolize them again, has to excrete them. But the other alternative is, what if your body preferentially wants to run on the beta hydroxybutyrate and you have glucose floating through your system? Well, then that glucose is going to cycle right on through and go through de novo lipogenesis and restored as fat. Does that make sense? So we're basically talking about if we use exogenous ketones while we have glucose and glycogen stores high, we could ultimately end up restoring that glycogen as fat. So I'm not a big fan of using exogenous ketones to try to get back into ketosis. I am a fan of using exogenous ketones when you're already deep into ketosis. That'll help you out a lot because then you get a little mental clarity out of it. You ever wonder how I can articulate so well in my videos? Yeah, exogenous ketones help me out a little bit. Which ones do I use? I use simple ones that are straight beta hydroxybutyrate because I'm not a big fan of all these multi-level marketing schemes that are out there with the exogenous ketones because I feel like they put a bad taste in everybody's mouth about them. Hey guys, let me show you something. Well, first of all, a lot of my team has already left the office. Slackers, right? Check these out. So I was at Costco, and this is where one of my editors sits. But these are so cool. I just want to check this out. Check this out. How about that? Okay, I want everyone that's at my office to be able, going up, just stand up. So now we can sit here. And she was sitting down earlier. I got another one back there. So stand-up desks all the way around, right? Super cool. And then when I'm in my office, okay, then I've got one of my other editors sits here. This is where a lot of the magic happens, okay? And then I get the old one. I get the one that's a stand-up desk, that's manual. But anyway, I wanted to show you guys. This is where the magic happens, okay? This is where a lot of the videos get edited. I'm after hours right now, so everybody's kind of out and about. Then here's the break room, okay? We basically got a little Keurig, nothing fancy, right? Okay, microwave that nobody uses because I want to get upset with them if anyone ever uses the microwave. Anyway, we've also got little Timmy here. Just giving you a quick office tour. This is my pup Timmy. You've seen him in some of my videos. He's a good man. He's always around. So everyone that likes dogs, go ahead and say hi to Timmy, just so that we can say hello. I know you guys are watching. I know you guys are paying attention. I saw the engagement just went up when I did the little office tour, so I'm glad you guys like that. I'm glad you guys like seeing the office, seeing what I'm doing. Oh, everyone's saying hi, Timmy. Say hi, Timmy. Say hi back. Guys, if you like Timmy, make sure that you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure that you get some good engagement going. You guys are so awesome. I know the video is kind of crooked right now. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you, guys. Everyone's saying hi to Timmy. Oh, and Timmy's off my lap. So you guys, you guys are awesome. You guys are saying some funny things. What's the best thing to eat before you sleep? Best thing to eat before you sleep, it depends. If you're in ketosis, you want to eat something high in magnesium. So you generally want to have like some almonds, something like that. I'm sorry that this is coming across crooked right now. I hold a little gimbal for my phone, and it's like making the thing crooked. Yeah, he is camera shy. So if you're not in ketosis, having some carbs before you go to bed is actually a good thing. I've done videos on that, how having carbs increases levels of serotonin, which therefore helps the absorption of tryptophan. Tryptophan helps the conversion into melatonin, which is really, really good. What about eggs before bed? I'm not a big fan of eggs before bed, mainly because the sulfur in them can bloat you and can inhibit digestion a little bit throughout the nighttime, which I'm just not a big fan of. They're also fairly hard to digest, believe it or not. They're really, really good for you, but they're hard to digest, and that means that you are not giving your body the chance it needs to actually recover. If I use pre-workout, what kind do I recommend? I usually make my own. So if I'm going to make a pre-workout, I'll use a little bit of beta-alanine a little bit of caffeine, or I'll just have it with some coffee. Then I'll use a little bit of beta-alanine, then I'll use arginine, and that's really it. Don't need much in it. I'm a big fan of theacrine, TheaCrine. It is a dopaminergic effect. It is an adenosine receptor, so it does affect how do I say this? It is adenosinogenic, so it does affect the adenosine receptors, which means it occupies the adenosine receptor the same way caffeine does, except there's no crash. So theacrine is awesome, and I hope that kind of makes some sense. What else do I say? There is a company named Sheer Strength Labs. You've probably seen some of my videos for them. I do videos for them now and then. I actually do endorse them because a lot of their products are good. So in terms of pre-made pre-workouts, that's a good one, Sheer Strength Labs. Someone has said they missed a bunch of this. It's going to be available, and also the topic in terms of protein in general, the actual are you having too much or are you having too little. I have a full produced, fully edited video that's going to go live here probably next week on this same topic that I'm talking about right now, just in more depth, so you guys will see that. Someone asked if I like Chinese food, and I do like Chinese food, but I don't really get the chance to have it much. I will say that one of my favorite cheat meals, however, is Thai food. Drunken noodles are awesome. If you guys have ever had pad Thai, obviously, pad Thai has some things in it that aren't real good. You're combining a lot of carbs with a high amount of fat from the peanuts. So not the best thing for a cheat meal. Spiking the insulin with some fat equals not doing too good, right? But drunken noodles, if you've ever had those, are unreal. They're lower fat. They're the wide rice noodles. There's still no gluten in them. Now, here I am talking about like food that's not good for you, but it's really, really good in terms of having a cheat meal. So it's probably one of my favorite cheat meals. How do I feel about caffeine and theanine? I'll be completely honest. I'm a humble guy. I'll be realistic. I don't know a whole lot about the world of the combination of caffeine and theanine. And I know, obviously a lot of pre-workouts do that. I just don't know what the really interaction is there. So that's a good idea for a video, though. Monk fruit, good or bad? Monk fruit's good. It is a sugar alcohol. It is it does technically affect your body that way, which means if you're prone to digestive issues, you might find that you end up having a little bit of some digestive upset from it. But anyway, guys, I want to make sure we've got a lot of people that keep on joining in. People leave, coming on. Can you make sure you hit that thumbs up button for me? I really want to get this video up to like 500 thumbs up by the time I end it. So if you can, just do me a huge favor, hit that like button, hit the thumbs up button, and also continue to comment where you're watching from. Dylan Black says drunken noodles are the best, so he's definitely had them. Protein levels on a cut, they don't change. That's the thing. They don't change at all. Oh, Ollie has some nice words to say. Okay, well, that's cool. What's going on in Winnipeg, Manitoba? What's going on, Time Runner? What's going on, Nolan? Question, how do I correctly come out of keto for a photo shoot? That's a good question. Everybody's going to respond different. When you come out of ketosis for a photo shoot, you typically want to make sure that you're keeping your water very, very high. Okay, you want to make sure that you're not depleting your water at all when you go into that shoot. So even if you are normally going to cut water, you don't want to. You want to make sure that you're drinking a lot of water, slowly incorporating carbs. So anyway, so guys, it's awesome. Looks like we have some haters on this one, some guys that don't like me, so that's cool. It's always nice to do a live broadcast and face everyone head on. So it's a perfect time for me to say, guys, if you don't like my content, if you don't like my stuff, the internet's a big place. Go follow someone else. Go watch someone else. It's all good. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. A lot of people that are already standing up on that stuff. It's awesome. So do I drink beer? No, I'm not a big beer drinker at all. In fact, it doesn't really do much for me at all. Keto ice cream. I did see a recipe for keto ice cream using coconut cream at one point. So Patricia, you asked me to talk about microwaves and food. Believe it or not, the studies actually show that microwaves don't affect food that much. Believe it or not. It's not as bad as people think. What ends up actually being worse is the actual radiation if you're standing close to a microwave. What the effect on food, it does neutralize some of the nutrients, and it does actually kill off some of the B vitamins and things like that. So that's a problem. But whatever. Yes, I have to say, you guys are awesome. Like I mentioned for 1 second that I've got a hater on here, and you guys just like go to bat for me. I have the most awesome group of subscribers I could ever imagine. You guys are super awesome. What's my thoughts on uncured bacon? Yeah, uncured bacon is good to go. I'm sorry, low power mode there. I'm not a super seasoned person on uncured bacon. I know the process and how it works and how your body handles it a little bit differently. I use uncured bacon in ketosis, so you're all good there. Electrolytes for a cramp. Generally, Jennifer, the electrolyte issue is more of an issue with it's more of an issue with magnesium more than anything. And a lot of times electrolyte drinks and things like that, they end up having just a lot of potassium, a lot of sodium. Magnesium is more expensive, so a lot of times the electrolyte drinks and stuff like that don't have a lot of magnesium. And will testosterone make your hair thicker? Generally, yeah, it can. So anyway, guys, I'll probably start wrapping this up here in just a minute, but I do want everyone, gosh, you guys are awesome. We've got people asking about cooked or uncooked veggies. That's a long video. In fact, I have one that I created for that, and I'm gonna post it up live here pretty soon. But I will say, when it comes to veggies, don't shy away from the frozen veggies, because the frozen veggies, believe it or not, they are frozen at the peak of harvest when they contain the most nutrients. They're also frozen right after they're picked, which means they don't have time to oxidize. They don't have time to oxidize. They're going to be more nutritiously dense, and they're going to be a lot healthier for you and easier to digest. So that'll help you out right then and there. Guys, one last round. Make sure you comment where you're watching from, and then that way we can just say hello to everybody. Ollie really doesn't like me. I'm sorry, Ollie. I'm really, really sorry. So I'm glad you're still hanging out, though. New York City in the house. What's going on? Keto protein ice cream. That sounds like a good idea. Keto and pregnancy. I will answer that, since you guys might know that my wife is pregnant right now. We are 5 months pregnant. We've got a baby due in October, little boy, and we are stoked. Can't wait. I don't know if you guys do know that. I talk about it on Facebook. I don't talk about it on YouTube all the time. So got the baby on the way. We've been monitoring a lot of that, putting that on Facebook on how Amber's doing and how she's eating and stuff like that. It's awesome. So I will tell you, ketosis during pregnancy is not the most recommended thing, simply because it's not investigated a lot yet. And why would you want to risk that? You know, ketosis and life, ketosis and day in and day out, that's all studied and read and understood and referenced. But ketosis in pregnancy is a whole new world. And do we really want to try that? Because the problem is a lot of the fetal development, the brain development, does depend on some glucose. We have to remember that even though we are convincing our bodies to utilize fats for fuel, that our bodies are utilizing glucose as its primary source right now, just through the phases of evolution anyway. Like right now, at this particular point in time, we predominantly use glucose. Does that change? I mean, does 300 years ago, were we consuming as much refined sugar? Were we more glucose dominant? No, we were probably used to running on fats, but right now, we need to know how to utilize carbs for fuel, at least somewhat. So it's important. So my wife has made the decision that she's out of ketosis while she's pregnant, and then she's going to go back into ketosis when she's breastfeeding. So hopefully that answers that question. You guys are so amazing. A lot of questions coming in about BCAAs, I think probably because of that ketosis BCAA video that I did. So I'll have to do a whole separate video on that. Sonia say Amber needs a lifestyle channel. She totally does. I keep telling her that. So that's a good idea. I'll get her on her about that. I need to start getting her on some more videos. If you guys want more, well, actually, while I'm doing this, real quick, Bill Lawrence says TMI. I don't know if you're talking TMI about my wife being pregnant, but sorry, if it's TMI, it's TMI, but it's my life and I'm sharing it with you guys. If you guys have ideas for videos really quick, please just post them while I'm here, because I can see them. A lot of people are saying they want to see me start doing vlogs and stuff. I'm cool with doing that. I might start doing that here pretty soon, but I really want to make sure that I'm getting the education out that I want to get out. And once the subscriber base is really big and it's really, really huge, maybe it's 500,000 or so, that's when I feel comfortable saying, all right, I'm going to do some more blogs and vlogs, and I'm going to start getting out there and doing this kind of stuff, showing you what I eat in a day, showing you that kind of stuff. So it makes sense, you know. So give me some ideas. Okay, some more videos for women hormones and stuff like that. It's a great idea. Fermented proteins, bone broth. I'm trying to get some ideas in terms of videos here. So guys, what do you want to see? I've got some cool ones coming up, just so you know. I've got one on Garcinia, because Dr. Oz did a piece on Garcinia that I thought was really interesting. How to make gains, that's a good one. The dawn phenomena, that's pretty interesting, and high glucose in the morning. I've actually found that's really intriguing. I don't know if I want to do a full video on that, but I do need to talk about that at some point. Keto ice cream, a lot of people talking about that. Video on inulin, so meaning like the prebiotic fiber, totally. Adaptogens, great idea. Sorry, someone says Dr. Axe is better than this shithead. All right. I'm sorry. That literally made me laugh out loud. So thank you. Well, good thing that Dr. Axe is a friend of mine, so that's cool. I'm sorry. I'm literally cracking up because of all these comments that are coming in. You guys are hilarious. CLA, that's a great idea. Substitute for breads. That's a super, super good one. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. It is awesome that Amber's pregnant, so I'm super happy there. Yeah, it sounds like this Ollie guy that's commenting is having some serious issues. And Dr. Axe is a super good guy. You notice a lot of the content that I do parallels what he does. We talk about a lot of the same things. So Leaky gut, great idea too. Physiology of addiction to bread and sugar. That's really good. I did a video on the addictiveness of sugar actually already. It's on my channel if you scroll back a couple months. It's really, really good. It's got some awesome stuff on there. I don't know if you know this, but sugar, gram for gram, is more addictive than many street drugs. Gram for gram, okay, not literally, but gram for gram in terms of how it affects the body. It's more addictive than many street drugs. Same thing with dairy. Dairy, that A1 beta caseinate, that BCM7, is actually more addictive than heroin gram for gram. It's like 2 to 3 times more addictive than heroin gram for gram. Very addictive stuff. That's why people, when they consume dairy, when they consume cheese and stuff like that, they feel like they need more. They get literally hooked on it. It's a big thing. Marcos, carbs at night are good if you're not in ketosis. Guys, one last round. I know I keep saying this. I do have to jump off. I've got to hop on a couple phone calls here. I've got to end up finishing up some stuff. I've got to edit a couple videos with my team. So I've got to talk with one of my other editors that's home working on something right now that just pinged me. I've got to help him out on a quick edit. And then I will be back to getting some good old videos here on YouTube. So make sure you comment one last time where you're watching from, and also give me a bunch of hearts, a bunch of thumbs up on this real quick. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button. Let's at least hit it 350 before I sign off. You guys are super awesome. Got to sign off. Thank you again one last time for helping me hit 100,000 subscribers and allowing me to do what I do and allowing me to continue to create amazing content for you guys and help change the world in a really positive way. As always, make sure you comment. Let me know what videos you want to see. And if you have any ideas on future live broadcasts or things that you want to see about my life, then I'm happy to. All right, you guys. So we got a lot of people that just subscribed too. Oh, make sure, by the way, real quick before I go, make sure you turn on the follow button, okay, that little bell icon. Turn on that follow button so you see when I go live. That's gonna make it so every time I go live, it sends you a notification. So there's a little bell icon, okay? You gotta hit that little bell icon when you come off of this video, okay? Any of my videos, hit the bell icon. It's gonna allow you to get a notification. I can't talk today. A notification whenever I go live. You guys are super awesome. I will see you all very soon.